Hare Krishna Mataji, you may start now if you wish.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dandavat pranam.
दंडवत प्रणाम चारु प्रभु जी।
Hari Bol Prabhuji. Hari Bol. I think we may start. We
ओम
may start the kirtan here.
यस प्रभु जी।
Yeah.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरविषे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा मनचारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Now we'll do Ram Bhajan, that is from Ramcharitmanas, written by Sant Tulasi Ram Das ji. जय राम जय राम श्री राम, जय जय राम श्री राम। जय राम रमणं समनं भव तापभयाकुल पाहि जनं महिमण्डल मण्डनचारुतरं धृत सायकताप निसङ्गपरं जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम मुनिमानस पंकज बृंद भजे रघुवीर महारण धीर जय मुनिमानस पंकज भृंग भजे रघुवीर महारण धीराजे तब नाम जपामि नमामि हरि भवरोग महामद मानरी जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम गुणशील पर कृपा परमायतनं प्रणमामि निरन्तर श्रीरमणम् गुणशील कृपा परमायतनं प्रणमामि निरन्तर श्रीरमणम् रघुनन्दनि कन्दय द्वन्द्वधनं महिपाल विलोकाय दीनजनं जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय गो ब्राह्मण्य हिताय च Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful
Right.
set.
So beautiful, so nicely offered the prayers with great bhav.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's your blessing only that has brought to me.
Thank you, Mataji. You created the right atmosphere, right kind of things. Okay, so first I'll offer my own prayers, my prayers. To receive Lord's blessings. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate, Gopesh Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namastute, Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Vipa Sindhubhyeva cha, पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री कृष्ण। Now offering praise to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. O most beneficent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisance unto you. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sanga Pangostra Parshadam Yagnahi Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregation chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, constantly sings the names of Sri Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnai Kanipunau Shadadharma Samstapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Ananden Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Hare Krishna. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Govinda Mahadi Purusham. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol Prabhupada. So I think we're going to hear a recap of the previous, I think, Sutra number 1. Hare Bol.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Land of Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Char Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Sharat Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Bol.
Mataji.
Hare Bol.
So I'm doing the recap, Prabhu. Thank you for this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Last Sunday we had a wonderful session from Charu Prabhuji. That lesson 2, that is first sutra 1.1.1. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Now, therefore, is a desire to know, okay, the inquiry into the Brahman. Okay. So let us understand the each of the theme. Okay. What we are going to do the recap. What I will do is in each slide, I'll try to give just a couple of summary, 1 or 2 lines, so that we could recollect, okay, what Prabhuji has explained. Because we're not going to explain each of the theme as part of recap. That is what we have decided. And then we'll try to have one question from each slide. And because we have only half an hour time, so let us requesting. And also my questions are going to be very, very simple. So everyone can participate. Hare Krishna. So this is the first, the second slide, okay, in this particular theme, that is inquiry into Brahman, that is Vishaya, that is thesis. So this theme established the inquiry into the Brahman is necessary for a true happiness and self-realization. This is very important. Inquiry into the Brahman is very, very necessary for true happiness and self-realization. That is what we learned in this particular overall slide. So scripture references from the Upanishads also support this. Yeah. And then material gains, temporary material gains are going to be lasting at some point of time. But what is that is going to have is spiritual fulfillment is the key. That is what a key summary we learned from this particular slide. So let us ask a very, very simple question. Okay. There are so many Upanishads which Prabhuji has explained from here. But like I'm asking a question on, okay, according to the Chandogya Upanishad, okay, what is a genuine happiness is been found? Where did we find the genuine happiness?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Genuine
Yes, Mataji.
happiness is only found in Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Anything you want to add little more?
And it gives the idea that material pursuits are insufficient for lasting fulfillment. They
Yes.
give only temporary happiness, temporary
Yes.
fulfillment.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
So
one
now,
important point, because Bhagwan is called Sachit Anand Vigraha, Swarup Vigraha. So
हाँ,
भगवान पूर्ण आनंद के सागर है, तो हम उनसे अगर जुड़ेंगे तो हमें भी आनंद ही मिलेगा.
yes, Mataji. Just now, Deepti Mataji has did the wonderful prayer. So she connected to Krishna. She connected. She
Very true.
connected to the Brahman. Yeah. And then what is happened? She got the bliss. And we also got the bliss from that heartful prayer. Yeah. So that is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah. Slide 3. So what is this particular thing is talking about? Samshaya. Okay, like everything is being talked about in 4 parts, right? That is what Prabhuji has explained. This particular slide is inquiry to Brahmana is also Samshaya, what that is erasal of doubt. So what is the doubt? Okay, for the other part of the people, especially the materialistic people, let us understand that. See, Samshaya arises from a scientific or materialistic mindset that the question is the need for what is the need? Okay, mindset that the question, what is the need for the spiritual inquiry into the Brahman? Prabhuji has wonderfully explained, he has taken multiple examples. It challenges whether the consciousness is merely physical or whether spiritually has any value beyond the technological process. Yeah. So let us see a question from here and see what is that we understood. What is the main doubt raised by the students of science or students of science regarding the need to investigate the absolute? What kind of questions they raise? You will find this answer in part A actually. So I'm giving the right direction so that you can refer that and you can recollect what is being shared by Prabhuji on that day, last week Sunday. So what is the main doubt raised by the students of science regarding the need to investigate the absolute? What kind of questions they get? What kind of doubts they get?
Is consciousness is simply a product of brain activity? This is the question of
Yeah, is a brain activity. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also
Any other
they
you
say
want to
that,
add?
and also they say that why we should go for metaphysical explanation when there is neuroscience, and also what is the practical benefit of studying philosophical concept and probing into it when there is technological advancement in and around us.
Yeah, in
Krishna.
understanding the mind,
Yeah.
understanding the mind. Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji,
so,
please.
yeah, so important part is that why there is a need when we have everything. We are happy here, right? So we have technological advancement. We have comfortable life. If all those things are, then why you have to go, which is unknown? You know, why you have to strive for that? That is the essence of you know samshaya. No, why we need that?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, all three. Okay. Wonderfully added the points.
And other point, Prabhuji, they are seem to be equating brain and the mind. They seem to be equating, and that's not very correct. Mind is a completely different entity.
Completely different.
than
It is
the
material.
brain.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So let's move to the next slide. This is what Purva Paksha. That is inquiry into Brahman, that is antithesis, that is Purva Paksha. Let's understand a line from here and then we'll have one question from here. So the Purva Paksha, which is antithesis, argue that the material enjoyment and intellectual success and ritual practices are sufficient, making deeper inquiry unnecessary. However, this view is very limited because material gains are very, very temporary and we all experience that, Prabhuji's Mataji's. While spiritual inquiry alone provides a lasting and meaningful fulfillment. Yeah, that is what we have seen from this slide. A quick summary. So let us understand a question from here and then we'll move to the next slide. So what limitations does this particular theme highlights about the material achievements? Material achievements. I'm questioning, my question is towards that. What limitation does this particular theme Prabhuji has explained around the material achievements?
Material gains are transient, that is, they are ephemeral, but spiritual knowledge is eternal. It has a deep value.
Yes.
Here also example given of drinking so much juice. You know, you do something is so much juice, but it lasts for the body. You know, it is not going to last forever, right?
Yes.
So the concept is good, but it has to be extended still further. You know, happiness you want, but where to look for happiness? It's not only so much juice. Go beyond that.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
स्वर्ग लोक में भी पुण्य खत्म होने के बाद वापस पृथ्वी लोक में ही आना पड़ेगा.
आना पड़ेगा. All 14 planets are temporary, and we all know that
Yes.
very clearly. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's move to the inquiry into Brahman, that the fourth theme, Siddhanta, that is Vedic conclusion. Okay, let's understand this. The Siddhanta establishes that the knowledge of the absolute brings the highest benefit, which is transforming how we experience life changes. Prabhuji's Mataji's. We have seen so many changes in our life. No need to someone examples. We have to introspect ourselves. Yes or no? So Vedanta ultimately encourages the inquiry as essential for lasting fulfillment and stability and our spiritual growth. Yeah, that is a summary of this particular Vedic conclusion. Yeah. So let's have one question. I will ask one simple question so that like everyone can answer. How does the knowledge, whatever we are learning from the absolute, okay, is transforming a person's experience, okay, and that particular person is having a lot of difficulties in the life. So how this is going to help? Suppose I'm having a difficulties in life. So how this knowledge of absolute, okay, is helping me. You will see this in you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, difficulties cannot be removed, but it transforms the way we experience when we
Okay.
come into spirituality and we feel
Yes.
the
Yes.
bliss of the Lord.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Any other points anybody wants to add?
Hare Krishna. Again, as Mataji said, the difficulties will come because of prarabdha. You can go into all those things. But you know, it gives the strength to understand it is a temporary, it is a related to the body, and it is because of my karma. So it gives a spiritual strength to withstand that. Otherwise, in a material life, you can get rejected, you can get a depression, you can do anything. So it gives a way forward, understand why it is happening, right? So when you connect to the spiritual, we are not only limited to the present condition, but we understand why it is there, right? And that gives us spiritual strength.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
More
when we
point.
suffer, we realize that this suffering has come to take us towards the direction of spiritual growth. Our mind will adjust with every difficulty and will always think that God is there to help us.
Yes.
And
Yes,
we should not think that because we are devotees, we are doing devotional service, these problems will not come. They will come, but the devotee will, how he faces all these difficulties. These three words given here: equanimity, wisdom, and compassion. That means the way he feels, the way he compromises, the way he solves these problems, they come from here. The problems should still be there.
Yes.
But how they are solved, that is different. That is a different approach.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you, Prabhu.
his
I was trying to
approaches
look for
changes
these
due
points.
to all these guna. His approaches changes, and that difficulties is replaced. The difficulty is there, but the thinking is this type ki that this opportunity has been given for growth. So the anxiety diminishes by thinking like this. This is only for the self growth.
Yes,
some problem comes, the devotee will think that perhaps in my previous lives I must have committed some mistake, some sin. That's why I am reaping the harvest of that. And he will not blame anybody else.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for all your contributions. Now let's move to the slide 6. The slide 6 is mainly talking about the human birth is very, very rare and uniquely meant for inquiring to the Brahman. Yeah. The ultimate purpose of life beyond the material pursuits. The Vedas guide this inquiry, showing that while material action give a temporary results, true fulfillment lies in understanding the Brahman. Okay. In these three aspects. Okay. Let us understand what is this. Okay. That is a quick summary of 1 or 2 line summary I have given. What is this particular slide is talking about? So what is the primary purpose of human life according to this particular slide? In your own words. Very easy. Everyone can answer.
To seek
inquire into the
knowledge
absolute truth.
about the Supreme. To seek knowledge and to get permanent happiness, permanent bliss, Satchitanand, and this is the main goal.
Inquire about the Brahman.
जब तक हमें अथातो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा का वो नहीं होता है अंदर से, तब तक हमारा प्रोग्रेस शुरू नहीं होता है.
We cannot get the realization.
Yes, it's very important point, Mataji. Aksha Mataji. Progress will not happen unless you have this inquiry. Yeah,
we have to be inquired ourselves. Who am I? What is the goal of my life? What is the purpose of my life? Then it hit the point.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just to add one more thing to that.
Yes.
In a human form only we have intelligence and we can see why I am suffering. And when
Yes.
we understand I need a help, then he looks for Athata Brahma Jitnasi, where can I find? So that inquiry is there. If that intelligence is not there, he accepts it. This is how it works. There's nothing, no other option available, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Like for everybody, like I'm leading a big team in one of the company where somebody comes with their own challenges as part of the mentoring or guiding. Okay, comes to me. Then at some point of time, okay, I will create this kind of inquisite in them. Okay, what is the root cause of these challenges? And I'll request them to do some japa. So that is where the people connects to Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Let's move to the next slide. Slide 7. Misinterpretation of Vedic knowledge arises without a proper context, leading to confusion between the material and transcendental knowledge. Yeah. So the true understanding requires a guided approach, Prabhuji's Matajis. That is through Guru and proper interpretation and pursuit of higher. Okay. That is Paravidya. Okay. That this knowledge is beyond the temporary material gains. Okay. That is what we learn in these particular themes. Yeah. So let's understand one very simple question where everyone can answer is what is the difference between Paravidya and Aparavidya? It is there in the slide. You can see and you can answer.
Aparavidya means material knowledge. Paravidya means spiritual knowledge.
Yes, Mataji. So that is one simple thing. So Paravidya leads to spiritual realization. Yeah. So where yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for adding that. Yeah. Let's quickly move. Okay, we are halfway through 7 o'clock now. So I have 15 minutes left. So move to slide 8. So what is this slide is talking about? The true realization of absolute comes not merely from intellectual study, but through a direct spiritual experience and awakening. That is what we learn this. So association with self-realized tools, the self-realized souls like a sadhu sangha, plays a very, very crucial role in transforming our consciousness and progressing on the spiritual path. Especially these Saturdays and Saturday sessions are helping a great extent for all of us in our life. Yes or no? How much nourishment we are getting, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Yeah. So we are a practical examples, okay, for these particular points. Yeah. Hope you all agree with me. So let us have one question. Why is a philosophical understanding alone considered as insufficient in understanding Brahman or realizing the absolute? Yeah. Why philosophical understanding alone is considered insufficient?
Yes,
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, Matas.
By our own understanding or by our own study or reading, we cannot reach any result. So we need sadhu संगा जो already ये तत्व को जानते हैं और डिवोटी भी है भगवान के, तो उनके द्वारा अगर हमें जो ज्ञान मिलता है तो वो परफेक्ट ज्ञान मिलता है और उससे हमारा भी जो है ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होता है. So we need sadhu संगा.
Yes. Yeah. Any other points from anyone?
The behavior of the saintly persons and guru inspire us and they guide us. They teach us tapa, saucha, daya and
Their experiences. Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
And thus we are diverted towards spiritual path.
Yes. Thank you, Matas. Let's move to next slide. Yeah, this is a break time. That is next slide, slide 10. So what is this slide is talking about? Okay, this slide is talking about the ultimate goal of life is to realize the Supreme Brahman and attain the eternal bliss through consistent spiritual sadhana. That is what this slide is talking about. This realization is achieved through devotion, that is through bhakti, which builds a personal relationship with the Supreme and transforms our day-to-day life. Okay. That, and then we will have a spiritual experience. That is the overall summary of this particular slide is talking about. Let us have one question. How does bhakti or the devotion helps in realizing Supreme Person of the Godhead according to this slide? According to this slide.
We are close to the supreme power. That's why we get enlightenment and self-realization we get.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct. But also, how to do that. We are looking at
How to
here.
do that? Yeah.
So devotional service is service. Always is talked about. It's not just mundane. It is not the intelligent knowledge. So we imbibe the Lord, and each and every activity, right? In the morning, you wake up and wake up the deities and all that we do. So we connect with the Lord. We spend
Yes.
some time with the spend some quality time with the Lord. So that is how that is how the connectivity happens, and we feel that we are part and parcel of the Lord, and by serving, Lord also receive good, and that's what we the devotional service helps us, that ultimate goal
Yes.
that we are looking at also.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
Bhakti is a medium.
Yeah.
मीडियम ऑफ टू रेसिप्रोकेशन में. सो हम भक्ति करेंगे तो भगवान और भक्त के बीच में जो भी आदान प्रदान होता है वो भक्ति के द्वारा ही होगा.
So I'm
Prabhuji,
just
we
looking for
build
understanding of the supreme.
Prabhuji, we
Go ahead,
build
ma'am.
a
Charu Prabhuji
For
wants to
devotional
say something.
service.
Please give a chance to Charu Prabhuji, please.
No, thank you. Somebody was speaking in between. Go ahead, complete your thought. Rakshamati, you were speaking?
Prabhuji, I have completed.
Okay, Tipti Bata, you were speaking. Yeah, complete your thought.
Prabhuji, we build a personal relationship with God, so we feel His presence in our home and our heart.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good point.
Very good.
Very good.
Personal
So,
relationship. Yeah, go ahead.
The other powerful thing is that Krishna himself says that, right? Bhaktya mam avijanati. If you want to understand me, only through bhakti process I can be understood, And remember, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, when he says something, normally he's unknowable. So how to know who is unknowable? Only if unknowable himself reveals, and he reveals himself in Shastra. In fact, one of the sutra that we are going to be covering today is all about that. Through Shastra, in Shastra is knowledge is coming straight from Krishna himself, from his breathing. The Vedas revealed to Lord Brahma for the first time, and he himself said, Bhaktya mam avijanati. So bhakti process, only we can connect ourselves with the Supreme with the help of a Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And that is what actually is needed. And this Sadhu Sangha that help us a lot. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for adding. Let's move to the next slide, slide 11. Brahma Jignasa represents a deep, sincere inquiry into the absolute, going beyond the ordinary knowledge towards the spiritualization. This inquiry typically arises after intellectual and material exploration, when one begins to question the limit of empirical understanding. So that is what this particular slide is talking about. That's a summary of this particular slide. So let's have one question, and then what pivotal question leads to a person from an empirical study of spiritual inquiry, for empirical study to spiritual inquiry? That you will see it in 12b. Here in this part you will see. Again, I will repeat the question. What pivotal question leads to a person from empirical study to spiritual inquiry?
The question that comes into mind that is Brahman or the deeper truth is measurable and observable?
Yes. Perfect.
Contrary to what the material scientists claim, that spirituality cannot get anywhere, cannot be measured. It's something just based on one's emotions, feelings. There is no science behind that, and they are totally wrong on that.
Yes, bro.
Everything is
Thank
very
you.
logically explained.
Correct. Correct. Bro. Thank you, bro. Very, very important point and very things we understand so that we improve bhakti. So let's move to the next slide. Slide 12. Slide is talking about the spiritual inquiry requires a inner readiness and moral integrity and purification of mind and a recognition of the limitation of material happiness. All these things are required. So guidance from a realized guru and sincere practice like japa and truthfulness prepare one for a genuine realization. These are all required, Babaji's, Mataji's. So let's understand, let's have one question. Like what realization must a person have before seriously inquiring to the Brahman? What kind of realization one person must have? This you will see it in here in this particular slide.
A
Yeah.
person should
Maybe.
understand
I
own dissatisfaction for what
Ah,
he is dissatisfied, what is, and then he can read the scriptures and find the
ah,
peace and solace himself.
perfect. You got it, Mataji. You got it.
and the
Mataji.
individual thinks that who am I and for what purpose I have came here on the earth.
Ah, yes, yes. This is very important. You must recognize dissatisfaction in the material world, material happiness. You have to understand that. Unless you understand that, it is very difficult to trigger this. Okay. Deepti Mataji has hit on the right point actually. Yeah. Thank you,
इसके लिए
Mataji.
प्रभु जी ऐसा होना चाहिए कि जब बार बार मिजरी आती है तो वो हमें एग्जॉस्ट कर देनी चाहिए कि अब बार बार क्यों आ रही है, कैसे, ये क्या हो रहा है। जब
हाँ,
इतना अंदर से डीप वो लाइक अर्जुन को विषाद योग जो
हाँ,
बोलते हैं ना, बार
हम्म,
बार मिजरी के बारे मतलब उसको स्मूथली नहीं लेनी है, वहाँ समझना है कि उसका पीछे का भेद क्या है।
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I have to move little fast. Okay. Slide 13. Um, um, so maybe I'll directly go into the question here. Because why does the consciousness present a challenge to empirical science? Yeah, that is slide 13. So you will see it in a part A. Yeah. So what does the consciousness present a challenge to empirical science? What kind of
Cannot
challenge?
be subjectively measured or objectively observed. So that's why like it cannot be seen to the material elements. That's why the scientists do not
Yeah.
believe their existence.
Empirical methods fail. Yeah, to capture. Yes, yeah. The subjective and experience. Yeah, that's what you're saying, right, Prabhu? Yeah. Okay, okay. So let's move to the next slide, slide 14. This slide is talking about a Vedanta study requires both moral maturity and intellectual discipline, along with a consistent spiritual sadhana. Okay, that is what this slide is talking about. We do not reject science. This slide doesn't say reject science, but science complements by it integrating the consciousness and a deeper spiritual understanding. In fact, Charu Prabhuji is a scientist. He emphasized this particular point multiple times. Yeah. So let us understand. Let's have one question. How does Vedanta related to material science according to this particular slide? You will see it in part B mainly. I'll repeat the question. How does Vedanta related to material science according to this particular theme?
Because it exhibits strong analytical skills and critical thinking abilities.
Okay.
It
Okay.
integrates
Yes.
the observer's
Answer.
consciousness as a discourse.
Okay.
It extends our knowledge towards
Yes.
spirituality.
Yes. Yeah. Vedanta
I
does not
think
reject material
Prabhuji,
science.
here
Yes.
the
It
example
extends.
given,
Correct.
you have to look. Previously also said how we to see that, right? With the consciousness. What consciousness? Here two people are given. One is a doctor, right? Another is a Vedantist. So both same challenge is that one doctor looks at because his consciousness is similar, different, and he sees from his own perspective and says, he says that I'm able to quantify. That means he has a fever. I can measure it and I can see that, right? He can do that. But Vedanta is without seeing that also. He can see that, one who is the object that he's saying and that what he's observed, they are coming from the Lord. They are connection with that. This can be explained much details, but he sees in different way. So
Yeah, okay.
again, the consciousness, doctor's consciousness and the Vedanta's consciousness is different.
Yeah.
So
Thank
Siddhant.
you. Thank you. So now we are moving to slide 15. Let's directly go into the question. What paradox about the absolute is highlighted in this particular section? Especially you will see it in second half of the slide, okay, which is related to the part B. Let me repeat the question. What paradox about the absolute is highlighted in this particular theme?
Absolute is both the source and source of all sense, but has no material sense. It is unique.
Yeah, yes.
And non-material in nature.
Yeah, you hit in the point. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. We're running out of time. In fact, 7:15. I'll take 5 more minutes, Sharu Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, no problem. Go ahead, take 5 more minutes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I'll just ask one question in one slide. Just 4-5 slides are left, I guess. Slide 16. So this is a conclusion of the sense of urgency of the inquiry. Yeah. So I'll ask the question related to this. Why there is a sense of urgency in inquiring about absolute? Everyone can answer. Yeah. Why
Because
there is a sense of urgency? Yeah.
Understanding Brahman leads to liberation.
Okay. But why urgency?
Yeah. So a nice example is given. The river start and it doesn't stop. Obstacle comes, doesn't stop. We are being born, we'll go towards the death. We have the time. We don't know how long we'll be there, right? So inquire now. Inquire now.
Perfect. Yes. I'm looking for that answer. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So moving to the slide 18. So this is C.C. Das, Chaitanya Charan Das, I guess. Yes, Chaitanya Charan Das.
Chaitanya Chandra Das.
No, Chaitanya Chandra Das, sorry. Yeah, Chaitanya Chandra Das. So like let us have a quick summary of this particular thing. So what are the 3 aspects of the Supreme Personality of Godhead described in this particular slide, which you will see it in part 2. The 3 aspects.
Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan.
Bhagavan, correct. Brahman, impersonal, Paramatma, localized, and Bhagavan, that is personal.
Are the 3 aspects.
Yeah, thank you. So let's move to the next slide. 19. This slide is talking about the true happiness lies in realizing the absolute. While the material and ritual activities give only a temporary result. Yeah. And they will keep in cycle of birth and death. Yeah, rebirth. So let us understand this particular one question. So what do Upanishads say about the result of pious or fruitive activities? You will see it in 6th section. I'm giving you the section so that you can directly go there and answer. So why do Upanishads say that the results of fruitive activity? What is the result of pious or fruitive activities? What is the result?
The pious acts are temporary and they lead to rebirth cycle. They give us repeated birth and death.
Death. Okay. So I'm just looking for one answer. Yeah. This is temporary benefits. Yeah. Agree? And gives the repetitive birth and death. Cycle of rebirth. Okay. We'll stuck there. Now let's move to the next slide. Slide 20. That is, various Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita consistently establish the relation of Brahman is the highest goal. Yeah. And the true source of happiness. That is what is this talking about. So all these Upanishads also and Bhagavad Gita is also telling the same. So that is what we learned, okay, on that day. So what is the unified conclusion drawn from all scripture references for us? Just give me 1 or 2 words or 1 line of summary according to you. What is the unified conclusion of all the scripture references which is being talking here?
It is absolute truth, knowledge,
highlights,
and Satchitanand.
Okay.
It highlights realizing one's relationship with the Supreme, which goes against all material or ritualist achievements.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Knowledge brings us happiness and liberation.
Yes, you hit in the right point, exactly. So let's move to the next slide, slide 21. So this slide is talking about what out an appropriate response to your opponent's arguments using the ideas from this particular section. This is what the theme. So let us have a one quick question and move on. What is the opponent's main argument against the philosophical inquiry into the Brahman? Okay, we discuss a little bit. Okay, one line or anything you want to cover, we'll close it off. Yeah. Hare Krishna. What is the opponent's main argument against the philosophical inquiry into the Brahman?
They say that we must enjoy our life. We must not waste our time in empty philosophical matter, because
Yeah.
we can derive immortality by drinking somarasa and also doing chaturmasya varta. So there is, they make very beneficial. They
Yeah.
are very beneficial. So we must not waste our time in philosophical arguments.
That we understand. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So let's move to the next slide, 22. So I'll directly go into the question because you all know experts. Okay. According to this particular theme, what leads to immortality? You will see it in 9b. What leads to true immortality? What leads to true immortality?
Knowledge of the Brahman
All the Upanishads
leads.
explain that material rewards are limited and they lead to repeated birth and death.
Yes.
And true immortality is eternal bliss we get from understanding the Spirit Supreme.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, thank you. So I think we are into the last slide. Okay. This particular slide is talking about focusing only on the material success leads to ignorant and temporary results for all of us, while the true knowledge and liberation comes from the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Okay, so that is what this particular slide is talking about. So I think I'm done with all the questions. Thank you very much, Prabhuji Mataji, for your wonderful participation. Really, really. So
Thank you,
touching
Prabhuji.
lotus feet.
Prabhuji, wonderful
Thank you,
session.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji, for
wonderful.
wonderful
Thank you, Charu
request.
Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you, Sharat Prabhu, for this
Thank
opportunity.
Very
Hare
well.
Krishna.
Wonderful. Very nicely done, Prabhuji. Very nicely done.
Mm.
And all the participants also, I congratulate them.
Mm.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you for
Please
adding
accept
points,
my
Prabhu, in
apology.
between.
All
Thank
good, Shri Prabhupada. So, what I'm going to do today is to share my own experience, because now, after this sutra, I'm going to turn over sutras 4 onwards, 5 onwards to all of you also. So I'll give you some guidelines how I prepare myself, and I shared in great details to all my teammates in this WhatsApp. So here I'm going to show you how I prepared for this today's talk and the talk week from now. And my objective is 2 or 3-fold. Okay, one, I want to remain faithful absolutely to the genuine translation, English translation of Kushakruta Prabhu, by Kushakruta Prabhu of Govinda Bhashya. What exactly Govinda Bhashya says, I wanted to remain 100% faithful, all right? Nevertheless, I also take help from reading other material, and the best that I came to, I tried several things, several books, but the best one is this C.C. Das, Chaitanya Chandra Das, because what he does, he explains in a simple language with giving lots of examples, and deliberately his explanation is very descriptive, but that help us to prepare to understand difficult aspects that is there in Govinda Bhashya, because Govinda Bhashya, the commentator Baldev Vidyabhushanji, he assumes a lot of it is granted that everyone knows, and we don't necessarily know everything he talks about, okay? So to help us understand the background of that, that is what CC Das actually help us to take us through that, okay? Basic introduction, some of the topics and so on like that. And I'll give you substantiate what I'm saying, trying to say with actual examples, right? So with that, let's begin. So what I'm going to do, and my PowerPoints will be there, and there again, sometimes I wonder, should I give you, because the PowerPoints are too descriptive, then the person who is going to give a talk, it will consume a lot of time. So what my recommendation is that, because I could have given bullets, okay, but then if I give just bullets, you'll have a hard time to figure out how to explain. So for that purpose, my PowerPoints are a little bit descriptive more than necessary, is to help you independently prepare to give a talk based on my PowerPoints, okay? But what I would suggest, if you read the CC Das article in your preparation, okay, and then if you understand how a particular topic is being discussed, then that will help you. So in that case, you don't necessarily have to read the entire PowerPoint, but explain what is there in a descriptive way, but you explain it in your own language, in your own words, then that will be much more effective, okay? And that's what I'm going to try to demonstrate to you with that. Okay, so I'm going to refer today's talk at least. Henceforth, I may not do that, but today's talk, to show you how I prepare, I will show you what the Govinda Bhashya itself shows you, tells you, okay? And quite a few things, it's hard to understand. And every sutra, you will notice, preceded by what is called adhikarana. Adhikarana literally means at the topic that is to be discussed. Okay? So in adhikarana, there are 4 thematic elements that you need to remember that defines the subject, okay, and defines where the discussion is going to take place. So first and foremost, first thematic element is Vishaya. What is the subject matter that we are going to be debating about? Okay, what is it, the main idea that we are going to be discussing about? So Vishaya is very important, okay? And Govinda Bhashya, Vishaya tells very succinctly, in a straightforward manner, it tells you what is exactly the subject matter. So you refer to the original Govinda Bhashya itself. So one who is going to prepare to give a talk must read the original Govinda Bhashya on the top of my PowerPoints, okay? And then read CC Das article that will fill you up what is not there, what a detailed explanation of basic terms Baladev Vidyabhushan doesn't necessarily give, okay? So for that it will be helpful, okay? And it is a lot more descriptive. So fix a block of time when you're reading CC Das article. It'll make you explain everything. It'll make you understand what the Govinda Bhashya is telling about. Some fill in blanks is there that he provides there, okay? So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show actual Govinda Bhashya itself, okay? What Baladev Vidyabhushan ji says that. So Vishaya and then Samshaya. Against that Vishaya, the certain genuine doubts that might occur, okay? So the doubts are raised, and that's important. that makes you think and analyze in a proper way. Okay, so doubts can be very genuine, can be innocent. Okay, even though it's opposite to what the Vishaya tells you about. Okay, but then it is followed by the third thematic element called Purva Paksha. So then the doubts picked up and get hung up on that doubt. So that's called, so Vishaya is like a thesis statement and Purva Paksha is the antithesis statements. It plays like a devil's advocate. And sometimes devil's advocate are very useful for us. Okay, because that really tests us, did we really understand or not, to defend against that Purva Paksha, against that antithesis. Okay, so for instance, today we'll be talking about, that sutra is what we are going to talk about. First is Janmadi Asya Yataha. Okay, so what exactly Janmadi? Janma Adi. Janma is the literal translation birth. Okay, but here it refers to as two aspects of it. First, so there are three things that we should know whenever we talk about absolute truth. Okay, of course that Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan is there. But let's put that aside. The three aspect is that on one side, so it's like a triangle. Okay, one side is the supreme Brahman, and Brahman is talking about the specially personal aspect of it, as against what Advaita Vada is telling you, that is Nirguna Nirakara. It is Nirguna Nirakara means it has a spiritual qualities, but Nirguna Nirakara is from material point of view. The second aspect, so Brahman, other aspect is this living entities, Jivatmans, the living entities, but who have material bodies. There's a spirit soul, qualitatively very similar, but not necessarily quantitatively. But he has this material body that has a negative influence on his thinking. Okay, the body is made of prakriti, this material nature. Three gunas are there. Okay, so the third aspect is the jagata, this material world that we live in. So, for instance, this janma adi, janma, etc. What is etc.? So, janma here for this direct literal meaning is janma means birth, but here birth of this material world. That means it is the directly it translates for a practical point of view. The janma here means it is creation by the Lord, creation of this material world. Then not only creates, but he helps maintain it also. And then ultimately it is dissolved. And the cycle keeps repeating indefinitely. Okay. So Adi, etc., etc. means not necessarily just the creation, but maintenance and dissolution also must take into consideration when we think about it, analyze about it. All right. That's one aspect for in terms of Jagata. What about in terms of living entities? Right? Living entities also by the Lord Brahman, the personified Brahman is Lord Vishnu. He throws a glance, we all know about it, right? In the Bhagavatam, second canto onwards. Lord Vishnu from distant, he throws a glance into Prakriti, material nature, and he injects, means he places the living entity who did not get purified in the previous cycle. And when the previous cycle ended, dissolution, we all go back in the body of Vishnu. Since here is Upanishad, we are just talking about Brahman. So we are going back. We came from Brahman, we go back into Brahman. But a personal aspect, Brahman is Lord Vishnu, of course, So then Lord Vishnu put us back into Prakriti. That is our birth, okay, appearance in this material world. Now we get material body because we have unsatisfied material desires from the previous cycle. So Lord gives us another opportunity, and that Brahma Jigyasa that we learn, right? We keep on coming back and forth again and again and again. Some point will come when we thoroughly become disgusted with material pursuits, and that's exactly the time when we get human birth. Human birth is absolutely necessary to get this Brahma Jigyasa that we discussed the last talk. So then, when the Brahma Jigyasa develops, then what? So that is what we are going to be talking about today and the next week. So now we are after how do we approach Brahman. So Brahman again puts us back in the body, in the Prakriti, material nature, with its three gunas. So Pradhana means the three modes of material nature are dormant. Pradhana is the primordial aspect of material nature. Material nature is permanent, okay, eternal. It's never created, never destroyed. Is the material world is created, maintained, and destroyed. So understand very clearly. Okay. And then there are 6 kinds of changes taking place for us when we take birth in the material body. Okay. First, if we are born, we are conceived first by our parents, right? Egg and sperm. And that cells keep dividing. So when the earth, sperm, and egg meets, exactly that precise moment of conception, our soul comes into play, comes introduced there. Then it grows for 9 months in the womb of the mother, and then we take birth. After take birth, we spend childhood, youth, and so on, old age, and so on like that. So 4 things takes place, right? What 4 things? It gives us kind of experiences of the life, happiness, miseries, all these things we experience through our life. Then so childhood we suffer during the birth process. Then we take birth, grow, and then youth comes into play, and then comes old age, and the diseases and so on like that progresses. So all these 4 things happens, and then finally death happens. Okay, if we continue these material pursuits, that's how we continue go through that. So death happens again, the cycle keeps repeating indefinitely until we become purified. So these aspects are going to be discussed today, right? So when we say Janma Adi, we are talking about 2 aspects. First, Jagata and the living entity. Jagata, it produces the material world is come into existence, maintained for some time, and then dissolved. At the same way, living entity, they are born, lives through, deteriorates, and finally dies. These aspects one must remember. So that is one aspect of it. Then moving on, how do we understand all these things from a spiritual point of view? So the 3rd sutra comes into play then. So here, 2nd sutra is about Janmadi Asya Yataha. Each word in a sutra has deep meaning and deeply analyze each word. Janmadi, I already explained to you. What is yat, asya and yataha? Asya means it's like a sarvanam. Okay, his, her. If it's a male, his. It's a female, her. If it's a neutral thing, they talk about neutral gender. It's okay. So what is it coming from? Okay, and then yata, of whom. So where the birth taking place, where from, and all this that is being discussed exactly in those two remaining words. Yes, we'll go through that. Okay, a little bit. I'm just giving you a brief introduction where and how we'll go through that. And the reason why I'm asking you in your preparation, read Das's article. Very easy to understand. Very easy to understand because he puts it in a very simple language. Yes, it's descriptive, but it's deliberately descriptive for us to understand. And then go back to this Govinda Bhashya. So now you are equipped what Baladev Vidyabhushan is talking about. Adhikarana, the four thematic elements, Vishaya, Samshaya, Purupaksha, and finally the fourth is Siddhanta. What is the Vedic injunction? The final word, final resolution is what the Vedas says. Okay? So that is Adhikarana. And the Adhikarana is very important before you go to the Sutra itself. Each Adhikarana can have only one Sutra or could be multiple. But even there is a multiple sutras are there. Preceding sutra, what we learn is very logically advances to the next sutra, and the next sutra to next to next to next to next to next, continues all the way when we reach to 558 sutras. So all 558 sutras are very, very logically connected with the previous one. Okay. And then it moves on all sutras like that in a very, very logical, deductive way. And that is what we need to understand when we prepare for this class. Okay, so there is an overview of what I'm going to do today. So let's get into the sutra itself. First, Adhikarana. So let's say I'll give you an example. First of all, let me share my PowerPoints. So see that Adhikarana, the Govinda Bhasha itself. Everybody can see my see my
Yes.
screen? Yes, it is it's a deliberately, obviously it's a very tiny letterings, okay. But what I want to tell you about showing you this thing, we are talking about this second Adhikarana, right? So you see here in Govinda Bhashya itself, very succinctly, the four thematic elements are there. Okay, very clearly. For that reason, I need you to go through the original Govinda Bhashya itself. So let's say for Vishaya, see that in these two lines, Vishaya is very clearly indicated. What is clearly indicated? Vedic tradition asserts that the source or origin of everything in creation is Brahman. Brahman is the original source, who is an unlimited, all-powerful, transcendental person, different from the Jivatma, the living entity. Okay, so here Govinda Bhashya, Baladev Vidyabhushan doesn't define exactly. Okay, how is it unlimited, all-powerful, and so on like that? And the distinction. So here the subject matter is that, and the samshaya is all about. The issue here, who is Brahman? Who is the supreme Brahman, and who is a person? Personal aspect of it, not Nirguna Nirakara, okay? So we are definitely talking about person. Because one who creates a jada, non-living entity, non-personal, impersonal being cannot create something. Only a living person can do that. A person who can do that, create. And second aspect, let's say somebody is painting a picture, drawing picture. Now, obviously, another picture cannot create another picture. Only a living person can create a picture. Okay, so creator has to be a person. The painter has to be a person because Brahman creates this material world and it also brings the living entity back into the material world. And then at the end, takes back also. So birth, maintenance, dissolution, Janma Adi, And then, so this is in two sentences very clearly, it tells you what exactly is Vishaya. So the Samshaya, see the Samshaya is also given in 3-4 lines only. It questions, doubt emerges. Are you really saying Brahman is the one and not the Jivatma? On what basis? Why not Jivatma? And Purva Paksa picks up that doubt and then forms a completely antithesis, 180 degree. And it will bring out all the same Upanishadic verses to prove his point. But then the issue comes, are they really interpreting the Upanishad the way exactly it should be? That's where I'm going to introduce you to today, to understand that you should know what is called hermeneutic principle. What is hermeneutic principle? Hermeneutic principle means how to actually properly interpret Upanishadic statements. The Upanishads are by design, it is like it has multiple meanings, opposite meaning. Even Sanskrit, because they're all in Sanskrit. Sanskrit language itself is like that because that involves sandhi, rules of sandhi you have to follow, and different ways how you put together, break the sandhi and so on like that. So completely different meaning could be there. So Upanishads are like that, designed like that. So what is exactly hermeneutic principle tells you in a proper way, right way. So it is always a context driven. Same word, but in the sentence, how you use it, it can be 180 degree difference. So hermeneutic principle tells you, pay attention to in what context that is given. So it is context driven. So hermeneutic principles for especially Upanishads, there are 6 elements it gives you. So I'm going to introduce you those 6 elements also. And that 6 elements, if you understand, and Govinda Bhasa itself is not, obviously it's not going to be explained, right? That is the reason the CC Das gives you exactly what are those 6 elements that you need to keep in the mind when you try to interpret the Upanishadic statements. And if you go through 6 elements with example, then very clearly you will come to the right conclusion. What exactly the right way you are going to be interpreting Upanishad. So when you do that, then you will immediately catch where the Purva Paksha is wrong and how they are misinterpreting the same Upanishadic verses. Okay. So I'm going to give you that example also. So Purva Paksha and Samshaya is going to be taken care of. And then your 4th element in the Adhikarana is the, based on that right way of interpreting the Upanishadic verses on which the Purva Paksha is arguing against your thesis statement. So there is an antithesis. Okay. So now you're going to put them on the right path and give a right decision, right conclusion. Siddhanta is a Vedic conclusion. So that is how Adhikarana defines the boundary of a given sutra that will follow. So that will help you to properly understand the sutra immediately following that. So the sutra number 2 is what? Janmadi asya yataha. And then the third sutra that also we are going to be discussing today is Shastra Univat. So in order to properly understand the Brahman, the Supreme Personality Godhead, you need to help. So understanding of the sutra comes, so understanding of that thing comes from Shastra. So you must have a complete faith in Shastra. Shastra means Shruti Shastra as well as Smriti Shastra. Shruti Shastra is Vedas and Upanishads, primarily Upanishads. Govinda Bhasha is all about primarily Upanishads, okay, by and large. Sometimes there's a quotation from Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is a natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutras. So that you need to understand properly. So now, Janmati Asya Yataha, you will understand word by word, and on that basis, you will understand where the antithesis is wrong. And we'll then come to what is the Siddhanta, Vedic conclusion. Then follow the third sutra, Shastra Yonivat. So the understanding of a particular statement, understanding of Brahman, understanding of the sutra is being born from the womb of Shastra. Just like a baby is born from the womb, mother delivers, right? So the understanding of the sutra is exactly the mother is Shastra. So you have to understand. So that's why it's called, the Sanskrit word is called yoni for the womb. Okay? Just like we take birth from mother's birth canal. So here also the understanding of that Upanishadic sutra comes from this aspect of it. So it's very critically important you understand how to understand these hermeneutic principles, these 6 aspects of hermeneutic principles. So today I'm going to spend some time, and I'm already digressing so much from original, but I'm giving you how we make progress, how we prepare a given talk in a very scholastic way, because these are relatively easier sutras. But as we proceed further, more and more difficult sutras will be coming. Okay, so you follow this procedure and it'll help you a lot to understand yourself. If you understand yourself, you'll be able to teach others. If you don't understand yourself very clearly, then you'll not be able to explain. Just reading my PowerPoints is not enough. You need to understand what goes behind that. Okay, any question before I start now? Please feel
Hare
free
Krishna
to ask
Prabhuji.
questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So no, this was very required. As I'm going through your most of the lessons now, I'm spending some time, and I'm just saying how you are arriving. Giving all those things you gave a reference, but you are walking us through. Prabhuji, it helps. What I'm saying here, all through that, Atman is the only culprit. Whom to call Atman, and we see that. I think most of the time is spent on that to explain. Difference between Atman and basically a Brahman, right? I see how.
So today what I'm investing my time,
Okay.
it seems like I'm digressing, but I'm really not digressing. These are important things. So my talk today, I totally prepared how I prepare myself and see if you can take some lessons. And then you develop your own way of preparing things, okay, later on. But
Thank
first
you,
you try
Prabhu.
to follow. So any recipe when you want to follow, first exactly the person who is giving the recipe follow. Then after you understand that, you can make modification the way you like it. You know, right? Anybody else? Thank you. Anybody else? Rakshamata, you understand? Banji?
Yes,
Yes,
Vaiji,
Prabhuji.
little,
Yes,
No.
Prabhuji. This is the perfect example you have given. Recipe wala example, Prabhuji. Then we can improvise ourselves.
Yeah, then you
कि
can
भाई ये
apply your
डालना है
own,
कि
own
नहीं
way.
डालना है.
You can
Yes,
develop
yes,
your own
Prabhuji.
way. Okay?
Perfect example. Perfect
Thank
example.
you.
First, we need to understand
Prasad,
your path, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Prasad
First, we need to
Prabhuji?
understand your path, Prabhu, and then we can customize based upon our mood.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Your
wonderfully.
own way of, because everyone ultimately develops their own way. Okay.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
But the idea is to how to understand properly and then being able to explain to others.
Yes.
So make sure you understand yourself perfectly.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to explain to others.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
And these sutras are particularly going to be challenging. That's what I'm saying. Don't underestimate.
प्रभु जी एक मतलब एक पॉइंट ऐसा मैं समझ पाई, वो आपने जो बोला कि जो एक सूत्र है, जो उसका ओरिजिन दूसरा सूत्र है, मतलब उसको प्रूव करने के लिए दूसरा सूत्र आया, फिर तीसरा, ऐसा मतलब कंटिन्यूटी इंटरकनेक्टेड.
All sutras are very well connected.
Yes, yes, okay,
in a very methodical way. So we are going to make progress step by step by step, okay, until we reach 558 sutra.
तो अगर हम ये पहला सूत्र नहीं समझ पाए तो फिर दूसरा नहीं समझ पाएंगे, ऐसा.
This is the first few sutras are the fundamentals.
Yes, sir.
Brahma Jigyasa, there is the root sutra, all the sutras, right?
That's why it is called Adhikaran.
Adhikarana explains what is going to be discussed. That is, defines the topic. Adhikarana literally means topic. And each Adhikarana has 4 thematic elements: Vishaya, Samshaya, Purvapaksha, and Siddhanta. And then the sutra follows. Sharat Prabhuji, you want to add anything? Haribol? Sharat Prabhuji?
Yes, nothing to add, Prabhuji. But I'll request everybody to go through all this material before you come to the class, so that understanding will be better rather than hearing for the first time.
And the recap sessions also will go in a more intelligent way, okay? In a more innovative way. Sanjeev Prabhuji, are you there? Any questions?
Prabhuji, what is harmonical principle?
No, how to properly interpret the verses from Upanishads. So you don't misinterpret, or somebody who's doing misinterpretation, you can point out and defend.
Yes,
it's called a hermeneutic principle, okay? And there are 6 elements of it we are going to say in a few moments.
Okay,
so I'm taking my own time to discuss all these things. So now I'm going to go in a quick succession, all right? But so far, that's the reason I'm stopping by to see if are there any questions. You understood what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to attempt. What I'm attempting now. My idea today is not just going to explain these 2 sutras 2 and 3, but to exactly how I prepare myself for that. Sanjeev Prabhu, you have some points?
No, Prabhu. I was just trying to correlate this with the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is also Janmadi Yasya.
Yeah, in fact, it's going to come into play.
Oh, it's going to come
into play. Exactly that first canto, first chapter, first verse, that begins also Janmadi, right?
Yeah.
And that Sisidas does bring it, that sutra, that verse.
Yeah, waiting to hear that. Otherwise, all okay.
Anybody else? Any question? ये बहन जी आप कुछ कहना चाहती है? बहन जी?
अभी कुछ नहीं. I will go through पूरी तरह से, then I will.
Yeah, okay. End of. We'll have a discussion.
प्रभु जी एक एग्जाम्पल माइंड में आया है, લાઈક
हाँ जी, बोलिए.
મરજીવા હોય ને, ગુજરાતીમાં કહું છું, મરજીવો
हाँ, हाँ,
જે
हाँ.
દરિયામાં ડીપ ડાઈવ મારે તો મોતી મળે.
Exactly.
So
So we are going
exactly
to
the same, yes.
dive in a deep philosophy, okay?
Then we
Very
will
deep.
get some pearls.
But I'm trying to equip you with the
Yes,
diving
Prabhu.
gear and everything, so you don't dive just like that, okay? How to
Blind
properly
dive
breathe.
નથી મારવાની.
ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर है, उसको प्रॉपर्ली ब्रीथ कैसे करना है, ये सब सिखाना चाहता हूँ.
Yes, प्रभु जी, very true.
अच्छा, okay, so now
आपने
so let
है
me
कि
proceed now.
इसको अंडरस्टैंड किया जा सकता है एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू, जो सीसी दास का जो आर्टिकल से पढ़ के, वो दैट इज वेरी
So अभी जो मैंने जो बताया गोविंद भाष्य, you see that how succinctly puts it, and it's going to get more and more difficult later on. And then he gives different Upanishadic sutras as verses to make his point, how to defend against misinterpretations, how those same verses that the antithesis guy gives, and he will put correctly interpret that. Okay?
Yes, Vaiji.
But he doesn't say how he is going to use hermeneutic principles. Sisidas gives you that. Okay, so now before I start the actual verse sutras, let me give an example of what Sisidas gives you and how you read Sisidas article also. All right. So let me show you that. Do you see this Sisidas article that I show you? You cannot, right? So I have to share. I need to share that.
प्रभु जी ये शेयर डिस्कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, पहले आपने जो किया है वो.
अच्छा, ऐसी बात है.
हाँ
I was hoping that.
प्रभु जी,
okay.
this article from Wisdom Library, ना प्रभु जी?
Oh, that is from Wisdom Library.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
seeing that. We are able to
It's
see.
very faithfully given that, exactly, So that there is absolutely necessary. You need to read the original Govinda Bhashya article, okay? Okay, now I'm going to share this thing.
So CC Das is like a supplementary Prabhu. So for better understanding. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now can you see that?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Prabhuji. Now, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Now I'm going to show you what are the rules for interpreting the scriptural statements. Okay. Upanishad is one example. Okay, I'm going to click that and see the rules for interpreting passages of the scriptures. You have that Sisidas book, right? I mean, I shared that link with you, all of you. So download. Yes. So download that. Okay. Okay. You see, there are 6 elements are given here. The 6 elements are Upkrama, Uprama, the beginning. Then Upasamhara, the end. How the Upanishads verses begin and how it ends. So you have to be careful to analyze that. Third is Apurvata. Apurvata means what is its unique in the text. And I'll show you the example, Sutra 2 and Sutra 3, to connect with that, okay? And then Phala, the general purpose of the book. Then Arthavada. Arthavada means the author's statement of purpose, and called Upapati, consistency. Now let's go through the actual examples, okay? Sisidas does a wonderful job. So yeah. I can talk only so much in a limited time, but I suggest you go back and read this article, okay?
Yeah. This is
what I
Amazon
did
version.
that.
This is Amazon.
When I'm in my preparation, I went through that. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say what is Upakrama, and with example it'll give you. Okay. Upakrama, what is the beginning? So here, the Svetasvatara Upanishad, you're all familiar, the two-bird example, right? Two birds are sitting on the branch of a tree. One bird, so both birds are there, and both are friendly birds. So there are similarities. What is the difference? Difference that one bird is eating the fruit of the tree and trying to enjoy it. The other bird is simply watching. So he is Upadrashta, and he's also Anumanta. Without his sanctioning authority, the first bird cannot even get the fruit and enjoy it, try to enjoy it. Okay. So that's the difference. Similarity is there. Both are birds, both are friendly, both are sitting on the branch of a tree. Difference, one bird is eating, the other bird is simply watching him. So that is Upakrama. Okay. Two friendly birds sitting on the same branch. Then comes what is the end of it? Same example. Okay. The second bird, who is the Supreme Personality Godhead, can liberate the first one from all anxieties or miseries that develop, whatever he's trying to enjoy. He thinks he's enjoying, but anything and everything material ultimately ends up in miseries, right? So that somehow or other, the suffering bird, then if he turns his head towards this friendly bird, then all is and learns about his glories, then he will gain the benefit of it. So now you see the Upasamhara in the beginning. Okay, let's proceed further. So in Upasamhara, it gives the conclusion of it. That ultimately Brahman, and who is a person, if we take shelter of him, then we become free from anxieties and resultant miseries of our material pursuits. Okay. So let's go to
example. Very good example are given by Jim. It's very
we'll go through that. Sorry. So Upakrama we discussed, Upasamhara is discussed, then comes Abhyasa. What is being said in that sutra repeatedly? Or verse, Upanishadic verse. What is being said repeatedly? So in this example, particular example, two birds, what are the ideas repeated in the text? The word Sanskrit part is given, the Anya, the other person, is repeated several times in this message. The other person is what? Is the Supreme Personality Godhead, that bird, who simply watches. Okay? As in the phrase, yeah, so this is repeated word is given that. Sorry about that. So Abhyasa, what are the ideas repeated? So pay attention to. So this is what the hermeneutic principle is there. You analyze that each verse is in Upanishad in this 6 elements way, they will be able to rightly interpret. And where the antithesis guy was wrong in misinterpreting, he's missing that. So the word Anya, the other person, is repeated several times in this passage. So what is being repeated several times for a reason? So you need to catch that. Okay. Now let's see the fourth element, Apurvata. What is Apurvata means? What is so unique about this passage? So the same example, two birds. The difference between the Supreme Lord and the individual soul, who are described as two separate birds, performing different activities and having completely different powers.
બધી સ્લાઇડ 7 નંબર બતાવે છે પ્લીઝ 4 નંબર કરો ને પ્લીઝ.
આ 4 નંબર જ છે જો હું આ જો
number
બતાવું
कर रहे हैं।
આ જો આ 4 નંબર I'm focusing on this, highlighted it. Okay, now can you see that highlighted the left side?
Yes, Vaiji, yes.
Yes, we can see.
So everyone knows that bird at the tree and eat fruits, and it is also not uncommon to compare the soul and the Lord to two birds. So now the comparison, these are just analogies. So here, what this difference entails is not usually known among ordinary people or even some great philosophers. They miss the point. Even some great philosophers, they take it literally. What is behind that? You need to understand that. And then what is phala, fifth element? What is the general purpose and result offered in this passage? So again, the same example to describe how the individual spirit soul becomes free from suffering by approaching the bird, the superior bird. Okay. And then the sixth and final element is arthavada. What is the author's statement in purpose and its purpose? The statement is found at the end of the passage. Usually the passage, the last few words, that gives the actual purpose of that. So here what are the words? One who understands the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. So here says that if the first bird who is eating the fruit and going to feel miserable afterward, he must turn to his other bird. And knowing the glory of this bird, then he asks help from him, guidance from him. And the Lord will provide the guidance. So this is what, okay, so 6 and 6, here's Upapati. What is a doctrinal consistency? What is the consistency? The other person, the supreme bird, does not eat the fruit of material happiness. He does not get involved in material pursuits. This is consistent with the passage that defines Brahman as a witness. So Brahman is always a witness. We are also Brahman. That will come in Sutra number 2 and 3 also. Okay. But we, the Brahman, does not have the supreme qualities that the Para-Brahman is called Para-Brahman, supreme.
Yes.
Who has that? Okay, so so far, are you with me, all of you? Now with that, we'll proceed the sutras.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Very nice.
Yes.
And this example is very beautiful. Very
Yeah.
convincing and clear-cut example.
Clear-cut example
Exactly.
from CC's website, bro. Yeah. I think what
So-
you're telling is 100%
So
correct.
each sutra, when you study, you go by each sutra. If you go to the content, if you go, it'll give you the content also, you know. Okay, I'll now I'm taking so much time. I think I better. So right in the beginning, there's a content there, and you click on that content, particular sutra or particular, you can go straight back right to that particular sutra, you know.
Yes, Prabhu. We'll browse, bro. We'll browse. No
Okay,
worries.
so
Yeah.
now let's get into the sutra itself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. This helps actually for all of us. So, yeah. You read until you understand. Okay, that part.
Yeah.
Maybe we need multiple times, depending upon our knowledge as well.
In this way, it becomes interesting also.
Yeah. Okay, now we'll go. So now you go to my PowerPoints, okay? After you've done this homework.
Yeah.
So
Your
first slide
material
is
is good.
the first slide is everyone is Very clear about, right? I'm
Yes,
giving it.
Yes.
So see that now we are going to focus on the sutra number 2 and 3, okay, today. And next week we'll go 4, 5, 6. So you see all the adhikaranas are listed in the first chapter, whole first chapter, first pada, okay. And there's a Shodasapada, 16 part. So in first pada of the first chapter, there are totally 11 adhikaranas are there. Okay? And there are totally 31 sutras are there. We are beginning first, we did last week. Now today we are going to do sutra number 2 and sutra number 3. So there adhikaranas 2 and 3 are there. Okay. So we'll go through that. So now now we are in adhikarana, and just exactly explain you. Pay attention to these 4 thematic elements. So what is the vishaya for this particular adhikarana? Whether or not this sangati here is akshepa or objection, the rich tapestry, I'll go straight to the point, okay? The main point is here, where the Brahman, what is the difference? The Vedic tradition holds the Brahman is the ultimate source of everything in creation, characterized as so look at the qualities of Brahman, supreme qualities. So when the question is is that Brahman referring to the living entity or the supreme Brahman? Which is which? That is the samshaya is all about. But the way the qualities of supreme Brahman is listed is clearly not going to be the ordinary living entity. Okay, so that is on which the Siddhanta is going to be based on that. So now Vishaya is this core assertion. The Vedic tradition holds that Brahman is the ultimate source of everything in creation. Can you say that about the ordinary living entity? Clearly no, right? So when this samshaya and the Purva-paksha is claiming, no, that Upanishad verse is telling the Jivatma is doing something. Now how that is going to be samshaya, the point of confusion. There's an ambiguity about whether terms such as Brahman, the absolute, the self, refers to the supreme Brahman or being conscious about his Jivatma. Which is which? There is a very honest doubt. Okay? And the counter arguments from other interpretation from Vedanta school interpret Brahman is the individual Jivatma, they're saying. Okay? So how do you correct that? So Purva-paksha picks it up that and becomes hung up on that. No, it must be Jivatman. Look at these Upanishadic verses, what they are saying. And now he quotes the Upanishadic verse. So, Purva-paksha, contrary to viewpoint, critics argue that the discussion in the Chandogya Upanishad is not Chandogya, okay? Chandogya Upanishad. Upanishad centers on the Jivatman, they are saying that. Suggesting that reference to Bhuma, there's a Upanishad verse called Bhuma. Actually, Bhuma refers to the supreme Brahman. But here they think that Bhuma is referred to the Jivatman, indicate the individual Jivatman rather than the supreme being. For example, Chandogya Upanishad, and the reference is given, states Bhuma is that in which one sees nothing else, hears nothing else, understands nothing else, that is the infinite. Now what they are referring here, the living entity is a soul, right? Spirit soul. Spirit soul is just exactly like Satchidananda, exactly like Supreme Brahman. So they are hung up on that. Okay. But there, qualitatively, we are similar. But quantitatively, we are not similar. One is Vibhu, another is Anu. We are just atomic part of the Supreme. that they miss here. So the Bhuma really, Jivatman does not qualify. Qualitatively, yes, but not quantitatively. So the clarification of misinterpretation Siddhanta, the Vedic conclusion is this, where they are wrong. To address this misunderstanding, an overarching theme must be considered. Overarching theme means what is the overacting, bypassing the misinterpretation is what? The unity and distinction between Brahman and all manifestations of existence. Because can we say about ordinary living entity that Supreme Brahman creates this Jagata? Can we say living entity create Jagata? Can we say the all this fantastic universe with billions of galaxies and such enormity of this material universe? Can an ordinary Jivatma can create that? Obviously, answer is no. So the way the description is given, detailed description is given for Supreme Brahman, you need to consider that. Then you can defeat and argue, valid argument you present where the Purva Paksha is wrong. So that is what Baldev Bindya Bhushanji is doing that exactly. He properly brings about particular Upanishadic verses where it describes the supreme quality of the Para Brahman versus the ordinary Brahman, the living entity, Jivatman. Jivatma is a soul is there, quality is the same but not quantity. But on the top of it, that he possesses this material body. And material body is made of three elements, three gunas, whereas Supreme Brahman is transcendental, purely transcendental. So when you consider all these things, the summation is that this reference that is given in the Vishaya is refers to the Supreme Brahman and not the ordinary living entity. So all this in descriptive thing, the way I given in my PowerPoint, ultimately boils down to that. So now you understand how I come up with this thing. So yes, my PowerPoints are very descriptive for you to understand. You'll be able to give your talk, but you don't need to read all this thing in your class. You explain all this thing in your own words, just the way I did it just now. I did not read the whole slide, but I gave you the exact what this slide is telling you. Did you get that? Did I succeed in that? Haribol? Now respond to me my questions.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes,
I'm
Prabhu.
having yeah. So the
Yes.
Bhuma talks about Prabhuji. Just if it's possible, just
If you go to this verse, then the word Bhuma comes into play.
yeah, it talks about three things. Yeah, that sees nothing. What do you mean by sees
let's
nothing?
read that. Bhuma
Okay.
is that in which one sees nothing else, hears nothing else, understood nothing else. That is the infinite.
So how to understand that hears nothing, sees nothing means what?
If you go to the original verse itself, I don't have the original verse right here.
Okay.
If you go there, then you'll understand that. So
Okay, Prabhuji.
he is the supreme. Does he hear us what we are saying? He hears everything. He knows everything. He doesn't need to say anything. No. Understand nothing else but that is the infinite. Critics use this line to emphasize the concept of individual inherent in Jivatman. So they're comparing that with the Jivatman. Jivatman also knows nothing. Understand nothing. But understanding of Jivatma nothing. Versus the Supreme Brahman who knows everything actually. Who understands everything. But it's given that way, you know. So you have to understand in the context. So if you go through the 6 or 7 elements of hermeneutic principle, then you analyze everything and you'll come to the right conclusion.
Thank you.
So the definition of terms like Brahma and Atma from Sanskrit dictionary support the view that they refer to the individual spirit soul. That's how they argue. because spirit soul is also, ultimately they are also called Brahman. In fact, Prakriti is also called Brahman that way. But there's a vast difference, right? Sankhya Yoga tells you Purusha and Prakriti. But the one who gave the Sankhya philosophy, his name is also Kapila. But that Kapila is an atheist. So when he says Purusha, he means the ordinary living entity as a Purusha. But we know that it is the Supreme Purusha who brings us and puts in the womb of Prakriti. And without his presence, actually Paramatma himself enters there. And Paramatma, when he enters, then the three modes become flux. So Pradhana becomes Mahatattva. And then Mahatattva undergoes under the influence of the Ahankara. Right? And then this 10 senses, 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya develops, the 5 Tadmatras develop, and that mind develops, right? And the Pancha Mahabhuta develops. So they think that this is the ordinary living entity, Jivatma is the Purusha. But that's not the reality. That Purusha given in Sankhya Yoga, Kapila Deva himself, who is the Lord's incarnation, the third canto, who is the son of Devahuti, he is the one who explains the right way to understand Sankhya Yoga. Okay, then based on all these things, the Siddhanta comes into play. Clarification of misinterpretations to address this misunderstanding, an overarching theme. What is overarching theme? Overwhelming theme that must be considered. So that's why I highlighted in the red letters. When I say something in red letters, you pay special attention to that. The unity and the distinction between Brahman and all manifestation of existence emphasize the theme of creation. Several scriptural passages illustrate the concept of Taittiriya Upanishad, discusses the relations between Brahman and all the Jivatmans, emphasizing that all beings originate and then return back to Brahman. We come from Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, and after this we go back in the body of Lord Vishnu until the next cycle comes. And then Lord Vishnu again puts us back, gives us another opportunity. He gives repeated opportunity. Why? That's the reason why repeated cycles of creation, maintenance, and dissolution takes place. And he always accompanies each living entity as Paramatma. And without Paramatma being present, no creation takes place, no further things takes place. So Paramatma is required every step of the way. And it is the introduction of the living entity with its karmas, the three modes become activated. Three gunas become activated. That is the whole elements of the creation that covered in the Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning with third canto onwards, continuous fourth canto, and so on like that. So scriptural evidence, Supreme Personal Godhead is himself this cosmos. So here, today we had another speaker was speaking. He was presenting all Sankhya Yoga and everything. And there's this Prakriti is eternal. He's right in that. Prakriti is eternal. But he said Prakriti was never created, and Supreme Lord also has nothing to do with that. Vedanta Sutra doesn't say that way. He was wrong in that. Because what he quoted was a little video clip from YouTube. And you must all know, YouTube is never 100% right. Okay? So the YouTube guy said, even Supreme Lord cannot do anything about Prakriti. That's wrong. What the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita verse says? What is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam verse says? When there was nothing, I was there. When everything is dissolved, I will remain there. And how do we explain Prakriti being always existing, eternal, vis-a-vis the Supreme Lord. Actually, Prakriti is his external energy. And you cannot separate the Shaktiman from his Shakti. Okay. So Prakriti is always under his control. He is transcendental. Prakriti is three gunas. Three gunas come into play when he puts the living entity with his karmas there. Okay. So you have to understand everything in a proper way. Then you don't make such mistakes and misinterpret things as this person was doing it today. Okay, so now we go to Sutra. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm taking little time, but give me about 10 minutes, okay? Vyasadev's definition. A pivotal moment in clarifying this debate arises when considering Vyasadev's authority on the subject. What readers Vyasadeva incites so conclusive, final clarification, Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedanta Sutra, provides a definitive understanding of Brahman in his second sutra. And this they misinterpret Advaitavadis. That their whole hung up is there that Brahman is Nirguna Nirakara. So the origin of everything, Sutra says, this is Adhikarana is there, okay? Vyasa. So conclusion is that Adhikarana 2 articulates the fundamental distinction between Brahman, the Supreme, and the individual Jivatman. Clearly defines it. And where the limitation of Jivatman is there, he cannot be, he is Brahman, but he is not the same Brahman that the Supreme Brahman is all about. The way his power is listed, from there itself, you can defy, negate the Purva-paksha argument. So Sutra number 2, Janmadi Asyata. So again, I'm going to explain in my own words, all these descriptive things. You know? So Janmadi, Janma Adi. What is Janma Adi means? Creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Insofar as the Jagat is concerned, insofar as the living entity is concerned, birth and the changes it goes through the life, okay? Conception, birth, growth, reaching to youth, old age, all the diseases are there. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And ultimately, he dies. So that is called Janmadi. And the Jagat creates, maintains, and ultimately dissolves. So that is where you have to understand, okay? And then Tibetan highlights the transient nature of material existence. So what is transient nature? Transient means it's temporary. This material world is temporary. It is reality against what the Udvaitavadi said that is mithya. It's not mithya, but it is temporary. It creates, dissolves, recreates. And then significance of asya. Asya means from whose, you know. So here translate of this material universe. So which emphasizes the complexity and vastness of the universe, these billions of galaxies and so on like that, inhabited by various beings who experience pleasure and pain due to their actions. No matter which of the 14 planetary systems we are, everywhere is birth, old age, disease, everything is there. Tibetic element underscores the limitations of Jivatmans. So the Jivatmans have particular limitations. The Supreme Brahman does not have, he is unlimited, he is Vibhu. Jivatman is Anu. So that's a major difference. So that Vishaya statement, which is referred to who is Brahman, it cannot be the ordinary Jivatman. Okay. So what is the role of Yata? Yata means from whom. While some interpretations suggest an impersonal perspective on Brahman, acknowledging it is the undifferentiated origin of all Yata, in this context means from whom. So from whom it comes? Jagata comes from the Supreme Brahman, and so do we. We end up coming from him and we go back in him. So Tibetic element, it asserts that Brahman is a personal entity. Somebody who is doing all these things cannot be totally impersonal aspect. Somebody creates, maintains, and this great gigantic material universe. How could that be impersonal entity? It cannot be. It defies the common logic. So nature of Brahman, definition, Brahman is characterized as possessing unlimited transcendental qualities, which we cannot say about the Jivatmans, differentiating from individual Jivatmans. For instance, while a deity like Vishnu is specifically associated with qualities such as protection, preservation, and compassion, we cannot say that about an ordinary living entity, Jivatman. It may have a limited capability, but does not have unlimited capacity. So the Tibetic element, this established Brahman as the ultimate source of sustainer, source and sustainer of all that exists. Again, that we cannot say about the Jivatman. So distinct with the Brahman and Jivatman is very clear cut, very clearly defined. Suffering and ignorance. Again, the two birds. It's the bird that is eating the fruit is the one who is suffering, going to suffer. It's just momentary happiness. It's a condition of Jivatman. That's the condition of Jivatman. Personal versus impersonal concept of Brahman. So now that I don't have to go again. It's clearly Supreme Brahman is a person. And criteria of Vedic interpretation. So now the final Siddhanta. The 6 criteria for entry. So Vedic, this is what the hermeneutic principles. So these verses that Purva-Paksha quotes has to be interpreted keeping the hermeneutic principles in the mind. Then you will come to the right conclusion. Critique of impersonalist views. So now the impersonal view, logical objection. The text addresses common objections from impersonalists and counters them by emphasizing the unique qualities of Brahman and the necessity of understanding the difference between ordinary Jivatman and the Supreme Brahman. Supreme Brahman is a person and he is all powerful, supremely powerful. Okay, I emphasis on inquiry jigyasa. So that is again given the 12 thematic elements, you go one by one, you know. But basically you understood the bottom line of all these things. That Jivatman cannot be the Supreme Brahman. So now Sutra number 2, Janmadya Seyataha. The key scriptural references given, Svetasvatara Upanishad, there are 2 birds, that's one analogy. Svetasvatara illustrates the analogy of the 2 birds to explain the relationship with the Jivatman and the Supreme Brahman. Other references are also quoted. Then the conclusion, this sutra is the cornerstone of Vedanta. The root of all the subsequent sutras are coming into play. Okay? Affirming Brahman is both the genesis of all existence and a personal entity. These 2 elements must be kept in mind. Grasping this distinction is essential for spiritual exploration and understanding one's connection with the Supreme. By interweaving, putting all together, of suffering, personal interaction, and the impersonal inquiry, it encapsulates the profound relationship between the Supreme and individual souls. In this sense, recognizing Brahman as both the source and the personification of existence is pivotal, very, very important. Everything rests on it. truly comprehending our spiritual essence and destiny. So now you understood thus far everything? Before I go to this verse number 3, Sutra number 3.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, good.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, sir.
Any questions? Okay. So now the third. So again, we are going to the Adhikarana. So again, the four thematic elements. So what is the subject matter here? The Supreme Brahman may be understood by the revelation of the Vedic scriptures. So the proper understanding of who is the Supreme Brahman is the Shastra. So you must have a complete faith in Shastra. And Shastras, by definition, they are sometimes ambiguous. That's why we need Sadhu Sangha. That's why we need Guru to help us properly understand and on that 7 elements of hermeneutic principles. So that's how we get equipped to properly understand and interpret right way Upanishadic verses. So scriptural authority comes, you have to follow that, then you will understand why the proper understanding of Brahman will come to you. You will be able to understand why Supreme Brahman is the one supreme. So all this, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Bradharanyaka Upanishad, and all of that, it comes with this kind of understanding. So in the Sutra number 2, we understood what is Janmadi Asyata. In Sutra number 3, now we understand the proper understanding of the Supreme Brahman is coming from the authentic Shastra with the help of Guru Sadhu Shastra. So Guru Sadhu Shastra and this hermeneutic principles. So that is what. So what is the doubt about the Shastra? The Western thought. Western thought is characterized by the Western way. There are 2 technical words are being used: apophatic and what is the other word? So apophatic and mystical tradition. So they explain the spirituality from the negative point of view, what it is not generally. Where Shastra figures like Mr. Eckhart and Julian of Norwich exemplify how Ransome is challenging the reason in Western context as well, suggesting that the understanding of Brahman might similarly transcend rational tool. This comparison raises questions about whether Brahman can indeed be comprehended. So that's why it's difficult from the Western point of view. So evidence in Upanishad, the passage cites the Gopal Tapani Upanishad and Bradharanyaka Upanishad, which affirm that Brahman is eternal, knowledgeable, blissful. So how something that could be impersonal could be knowledgeable? Right there you'll understand. There's got to be a person. But also reflect the ritual context in which mantras operate, such as the Agni Chayana ritual. Here mantras serve a dual function, embodying both sound and meaning that connect practitioners to the metaphysical reality. So this is how to understand metaphysical science. So again, Western thought, I won't go into detail about Western thought. Revelation of path of knowledge, Siddhanta. So now the Siddhanta develops. The only means, so why Shastra is the means for proper understanding of who Supreme Brahman is. So divine interactions, the only means to know Brahman is through his self-revelation. And he reveals himself through Shastra. The Shastra is coming from his breathing. And he first imparted that knowledge of Shastra, that 4 Chatushtaki Bhagavatam verses, which embodies everything that was given to Lord Brahma which was created by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu himself. And through from Brahma, it has come to us in a disciplic succession. Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasadeva, and so on like that. Vyasadeva to his son, Sudevji. So conclusion, collectively, these themes emphasize that comprehending the Supreme Brahman requires reliance on Vedic scriptures rather than more intentional reasoning. So by simple logic, you cannot understand. Because logic, human logic, is ultimately based, the material logic is on material elements. You cannot apply that to understand spirituality. The spirituality is beyond matter. And other thing, the 4 defects of human beings. When you try to make some kind of logical understanding, deductive understanding, because our senses are not perfect, we have a tendency to cheat, and so on. The four defects of human beings. So ultimately, we must take help of Shastra, which is not, which is apaurusheya. Apaurusha means it is not made by humans. They say that Vyasadeva did, but who is Vyasadeva? He is the incarnation of Lord Narayana himself. So it is apaurusheya. It is coming straight from the Supreme Lord. So that's why Shastra, we must have complete full faith, but you need to properly understand and don't misinterpret the Shastra and come to the wrong conclusion. That's why we need Guru Sadhu Shastra. So this 7 elements of there, understanding the Supreme Lord is given that. Nature of the Vedas, their divine revelation, first of all. Limitation of human reasoning, I already explained to you because of the 4 defects. The methodology of understanding, role of logic, what is its limit? A spirituality, you cannot understand by simple logic and deduction. Material logic cannot work. So resolving contradictions, that's how you do that. Value of descriptive knowledge, importance of description. The Upanishads may not offer direct instruction, but they do provide invaluable descriptions of the Supreme Lord. Lord himself explains through these Upanishads. Critique of fruitive action, okay, that's self-understood. Conclusion and the practical application. Goal, the ultimate aim of the Vedas is to foster a deep understanding of the Lord's nature. From Bhagavatam, we precisely know how Lord Krishna interacts with his devotees and how he reestablishes the dharmic principles. Discipline. Now, in every yuga, he comes himself, or as his incarnations, or he himself also he comes. Every yuga, every Dwapar yuga. In this pursuit, consider what practice will you adopt today to move from speculation to meditation. By engaging with the wisdom of the Vedas in daily life, you begin to transform scholarly understanding into lived devotion. So only through devotional service, bhakti will let you understand the Shastra properly. Bhaktya Mama Vijayanati. Shastra is there. Shastra is the one we must have complete faith. But when you serve the Lord in pure bhakti, then Lord himself make us understand him. Within our heart reveals. That's how we properly way of doing it. Except a guru. Shastra Univad. See, that's again 7 elements are there. Nature of the absolute truth, that is given right here. Limitations of human reasoning, that also we have repeatedly discussed. Role of the Shastra, these are designed to help revive the spiritual consciousness of the conditioned Jivatman. Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttam Sloke, Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Scriptures provide transcendental knowledge that lead us towards understanding Brahman and the scriptures. Understanding Brahman through Upanishads. Argument against pure logic. Pure logic doesn't work. It has limitations. Value of descriptive knowledge. While practical instructions appeal to us, the Upanishad description point us toward the Supreme Brahman for a greater purpose. Analogy, just as a treasure map is invaluable despite being descriptive, the Upanishad description of the Supreme are immense value. Gradual spiritual progression, you make step by step progress. Everything is not going to be, you need a guidance from your guru. So conclusion Sutra asserts that while logic and reasoning are essential for empirical understanding, you know what is empirical understanding? It's on a material basis, material platform. They are insufficient to grasp the nature of Brahman, who is best understood through scriptures. The Vedas, particularly the Upanishads and the Srimad Bhagavatam, serves as the authoritative guides for uncovering the nature of the absolute truth. Haribol. Thank you. Sorry, I consumed most of the discussion time.
No,
Thank you.
fine, Prabhu, absolutely fine. Like the initial time which you have took to explain that wisdom library one, and then how you do CC Das one, and then how
it
you
took
connect
a
to
lot
the
of time. I
helpful.
consumed there.
Yeah, it's all helpful.
I thought it was worth. So now you understand how you prepare yourself.
Yeah.
If you go by this way, at least try my way of going, and make good use of that Sisidas book. Then you'll be able to understand, and you need to go back to that original Govinda Bhashya translation, okay? And then come back to my PowerPoints.
Yeah. CC Das book seems to be very detailed. Yeah. Thank you. Very detailed.
So when you discuss my PowerPoint, you don't need to read all. If you understood that, then you'll be able to explain it in a simpler way and straightforward language in your own words. Just the way I tried to do it today.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, सो वंडरफुल क्लास प्रभु जी. समझ में आया प्रभु जी, थोड़ा थोड़ा अभी वापस पढ़ेंगे. मगर प्रभु जी भगवत गीता में भी एक
जैसे वर्ष आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे, everything will become. You see, the ascending part of a curve is always difficult.
Yes.
The descending part is downhill. You're not.
प्रभु जी, लॉर्ड इज अ नोअर ऑफ एवरीथिंग. उसका एग्जाम्पल एक भगवत गीता में भी दिया है कि भगवान अर्जुन पूछते हैं कि आपको कैसे पता कि हम पहले भी थे. भगवान कहते हैं कि हमारे दोनों के बहुत जन्म हो गए हैं, मगर तुम्हें कुछ याद नहीं, मुझे सारे जन्म याद हैं.
Exactly. And that Sanjeev Prabhuji raised that point. It's given, I didn't get a time to discuss that Bhagavatam's first verse, first canto, first chapter, first or Janmadhyasya Anvayadyatarascha Abhigna Swarat Tena Brahmardaya Adi Kavaye Mohyat Yat Suraya Tejo Vari Bridam. It's pura exactly is coming there in that. And that Sisidas refers to that verse, okay?
Yes, we will go through that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other question? Rajiv Prabhuji, good to see you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful class, Prabhu.
Did I make any sense? Did I make any sense today?
100%, Prabhu. And I'm parallelly reading the CC Das books, Prabhu. So this connects link, basically connects the point, Prabhu. So that's what.
Because now in second pada, I'm going to prepare. You will figure very prominently there, okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Those who didn't get chance thus far, I'm going to give them the opportunity, okay?
Sure, Prabhu.
So be prepared.
Sure, Prabhu. No problem, Prabhu.
Thank you.
And one thing I came to know from Prabhu, I missed the first class because that day was my Gurudev Vyas Puja was there. I came to know from the when I was reading the C.C. Das book, what you have given me the link, Prabhu, where the Narada Muni asking the Sanakadi Kumaras why we are not able to facing the problem. I just made a mark here. Then he make the point how the soul chronology of the soul, the material things are higher than the material things are the lower than the intelligence. Intelligence is higher than our desire. All this stuff, this chronology is given. Hope you come to that.
Is there.
Soul is that ultimately, he connect the importance of a soul in that one. And that connecting with Paramatma is more important. That chronology, I really not very surprising to how beautifully explain that chronology.
And he explains everything based on what Prabhupada said. That
correct, Prabhu. Yeah, based on the Prabhupada hierarchy, Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, just I thought. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Any other questions, comments before I turn over to Sharad Prabhuji for final words? Anybody? Sharad Prabhuji, you have final words.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very, very important things given. It'll take some time to digest all those points, but we remember all these. But I'll request the devotees, those who are taking classes, to just see there are two versions of this C.C. Das book. One is 757 pages, and what Prabhuji showed, that is 901 pages.
No, that's not difference. It's the printed version. It's 757. It's given in that's 957 is the what is called in that
online book.
Online book. So there, it's the same material, exactly same material. So book that you buy that costs $14, something like that, or I don't know, $28 maybe. So that is the same book in the printed version that comes to 957 pages. Or 757 pages or something like that.
Okay, because certain things I wanted to find out from the PDF, I could not find. In the other book, I could find them. Okay, if they're the same thing, there is no issue.
My understanding is the same book.
No, Prabhu. I also observed that difference, Prabhu, Sharad Prabhu. In fact, in online also there are some two different versions with there. 900 pages, it is worth to download. I agree with you.
That one is given a summary of it, the other one is full text is given.
Yes.
But the book 900 pages, 700 pages is very similar exactly to that verse online book. Okay.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
Okay.
I follow the detailed version.
Yes, probably. We'll keep all these things in mind while taking the class.
As we go one by one verse, one sutra by one sutra, you will very soon you'll get used to it. You will know exactly how Baldev Vidyabhushanji, his style and everything, his way of explanation, with the help of C.C. Das book, you'll be able to understand, will go very smoothly.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much. We'll go by the instructions you have given today.
All right, thank you. So next sutra when I will be discussing next 4, 5, 6, then I won't be going through again all this thing, okay?
Okay.
Haribol. And so is it time for the conclusion?
Yes, Prabhuji, the Nrsimha prayers. Any volunteer for the Nrsimha prayers?
May I do, Prabhuji? I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Namaste Narasimhaya नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रहलाद लाददायिने प्रहलाद लाददायिने हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः शिलटङ्कालनकालाय शिलटङ्कालनकालाय इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव कर कमलवरे नखाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे तव कर कमलवरे नखाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे थैंक यू प्रभु जी थैंक यू
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very-
Dandavat pranam.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam Prabhuji. Sir Prabhuji
Thank you very
Dandavat
much,
pranam.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
pranam to all.
Thank you, sir.
Today is
Wonderful.
Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's disappearance day. Author of
Alright,
Chaitanya
okay.
Bhagavatam.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
Chaitanya.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hari
Sanjeev Prabhuji, Sarat Prabhuji, Prasad Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Char Prabhuji. Sanjeev Prabhuji.
Have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Safe, safe. Travel safely,
Hare
Prabhu. I think you are
Thank
driving.
you for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Drive safely, Prabhu. I think you are driving.
Yeah, I am done. I'm just dropping my son. So I'm now stop. I'll go back. Hare Krishna.
You are in Pune, Prabhu?
No, in Bangalore.